Did you know that a fly weighs about 12 milligram? And we all know our horses can certainly feel flies on their hair. When we apply 100 gram, then we're applying actually 8,864 times more feel than a fly will apply. It's not that horses need more pressure. An effective phase 4, escalating phases, finding that harsher and harsher amount of pressure for the horse to comply. It's a matter of helping your horse understand what you are asking for and giving your horse the opportunity to respond with free will and free choice. When we talk about lightness through softness, it is so important to know that by nature, horses push and pull into and against pressure. As a prey animal, if the mountain lion jumps on top of the horse will actually round his or her back and push into the pressure of the mountain lion. So when we tie a horse without proper preparation, the horse, once he or she feels the pressure, will most likely step back and push into the pressure, not knowing that one step forward could release the pressure that they are afraid of. Everything that we do in the communication with our horse has some type of feel, whether it is a mental, emotional, or a physical feel. And in the Relationship Reset curriculum, we really focus on the idea that liberty, not the discipline, but the liberty to have free choice and free will results in lightness. So, when we choose to use a lead rope as a communication tool, not to control our horse, what we are looking for is that our horse puts slack in the lead rope. So we want to apply a feel, and our horse will follow that feel and put slack in the lead rope. That means that your horse understands lightness. Often we see horses do this. They just kind of come along and they might even push or pull into the pressure. We're looking for the horse putting the slack into the lead rope. At a walk, at a trot, at a canter, at a stop, to the left, to the right, when you go backwards. So in this video, I will give you first the sequence of using your intent, your thoughts, your energy, your feel, and your body language, what you do as a communication tool, and that the stick is for clarification only. I will give you also an example with Copper, who came here to me for rehabilitation. Copper was biting, striking, kicking, charging, and attempting to run people over. He had aggressively defensive behaviors. And so in the video that you will soon see, this is where I will be working with him on developing lightness through softness with a feel on the halter, and you will see how I actually apply a feel to the lead rope. In addition, I will also show you a little communication sequence with my mare Cash out in the pasture. Cash is not groomed. She has alfalfa on her back because she just had rolled. But you will see that the lightness in the communication is there. And I even slow my body language down for you so that you can exactly see what I am doing. Remember, those lead mare principles will be applied in everything that you do with your horse. And we will talk specifically in the next module, in the next action step, the Happy Horse Inventory, how you will apply the 5 lead mare principles to everyday tasks from the moment you approach with lightness and softness. So have fun watching this video, and as always, if you have questions, pop into the group and bring your question into the group so everybody can learn from and with you, and also make sure that you show up for our live Q&As. So let's have a look at the communication sequence, how I'm teaching copper lightness through softness, and a little conversation with my mare Cash in the pasture about walking, trotting, and stopping and turning and going on circles together with lightness through softness. Using our intent and our energy and our body language isn't something that we learn in school, nor is it something that is really promoted in our Western society. So let's have a look at this simulation, a sequence of stages of communication that can help you and your horse get started to refine your conversations. Start by taking a deep breath and exhaling any tension out of your body. You want to be well grounded, and your body and stick should be in neutral. Remember, when you never offer a clear intent and picture, your horse will never respond to it either. This example is about the idea to walk together. In my mind, I'm opening a door for myself and my horse to walk through. I clearly see a picture of me and my horse walking off together. Stage 2. Notice how my body now goes from neutral to inhaling energy. You feel in your body what you'd like to do together with your horse. And in a little bit, I'll show you exactly how to do that. Stage 3, you do. Notice how little my body moved forward. That's the subtle communication that I am talking about. Unless our horse is shifting her weight with us forward, we are not moving off yet. As a matter of fact, most likely your horse will not have responded at all, because you have never offered this kind of communication before. So with stage 4 of our communication, we're working on clarification and understanding. The role of tools in the horse-human communication is really interesting, and it's important that we put our focus on this, because by nature, humans naturally gravitate towards tools to achieve outcomes. But with our horses, this can sometimes actually shift our focus away from our intent, energy, and body language. And horses are often used to just watching the tools. That's why your horse does not respond when you don't have a tool. Tools such as the stick and string are not for controlling or forcing movement. They are for clarification only. Over-reliance on the tool can actually overwrite the subtle, more meaningful aspects of your communication, like your energy and your presence. The stick and string are merely an extension of our communication, amplifying our intent and supporting your horse's understanding, not dominating it. We want our horse to feel seen, heard, and understood. We, the human, aim to be seen, heard, and understood. It's our job to facilitate this conversation in a meaningful and clear way. We always use our tools with mindfulness to enhance the connection, not to replace it. As a closing thought, think about your tools as a bridge, not the destination. We always want to focus first on our intent, energy, and body language, and a tool simply clarifies what is already present. This idea of clarification Our focus is on clarity and consistency because that creates certainty, the basis for being confident. We never use force. We eliminate the idea of making or causing things to happen. We foster the understanding so our horse can feel safe, confident, and empowered in our presence. The goal is to what we bring to the table, how we show up actually enables our horse to respond willingly and freely and not out of obligation. And here lies the opportunity for you to grow and prosper along with your horse. We're saying goodbye to dominance, pressure, and control because dominant leadership insists on controlling the outcome, for example, enforcing movement, and creates brace, tension, stress, worry, anxiety, and fear in your horse. Our benevolent leadership as a guardian and as a lead mare in our herd prioritizes clear communication over control, ensures the horse feels understood and never pressured, wants the horse and human to feel safe, confident, and empowered together, and supports the horse so the horse does feel seen, heard, and understood, literally adding quality of life to your horse's daily experiences. The stick and string is a tool for communication, and the purpose is to bridge the communication gap between our horse's long body and our tall body. So it is an extension of our arm and hand. It's not a tool for forcing motion or a response, but only for enhancing mutual understanding. The application is as follows. We add additional energy that we already initiated in stage 2. Use the stick and string once to add energy, and then simply assess your horse's response and repeat or adjust your communication as necessary. Know that there is a potential pitfall from previous training or instruction that you have experienced, and that you are most likely used to being effective with your tool, because that's what the horse industry focuses on. And we here in the Genuine Connections Horse Womanship program, in the Relationship Reset curriculum, and in the Guardians of the Horse community, we focus on understanding and not getting things done. We will get things done because we're fostering understanding. It is a side effect. The flow of energy, how does it work? Yes, it is strange for us humans to talk about energy, especially in the Western society, but believe me, you can learn it by practicing it. Imagine that your energy is just like a river. It gently flows into the space that you opened up with your focus. You can imagine that you open up an imaginary door. Your stick and string simply amplifies your energy once. You're visualizing the energy flowing from you through the horse, from the back to the front, and into the open space ahead as we want to move forward. As a visualization tip, assign your favorite color to your energy to help see it flowing like a river. To give you a quick summary about the stage 4, the clarification with our tool, stick and string. The clarification builds on the intent, energy, and body language we already have established. It aims for a free will, free choice response, and never for forced compliance. We use the tools as the stick and string to add energy, never for control. We apply the stick and string once, then assess and adjust our communication from there. We're visualizing our energy, and that will improve our communication style. A quick note to this video. When I filmed this video, I wanted to be very clear in the different stages, and I used a higher level of energy that you actually should be using. So know that the energy that I'm putting in my stick is actually really high. So your stick is always in neutral, as in you're dragging the tip on the ground, unless you're using it to create extra energy or use your tool for other clarifications. So lifting your stick can already be extra energy, and I would encourage you to experiment with the energy needed to make sure you come from a perspective like tapping a friend on the shoulder to get her attention. We never want to whack our friend nor our horse to get their attention. So here I'm simply picking up some extra energy with my stick. This is only done once. There are no escalating phases because that would be dominant. For now, practice these 5 stages of conversation away from your horse, simply so that you get some practice. And then I will show you how to actually apply this concept with your horse. To walk off in unison with your horse, imagine that you're opening the door to a space that you both will step into together. You add walk energy in your body and you shift your weight to signal to your horse that it's time to move forward. You add a little bit of energy with your stick once, and you repeat stage 2, 3, and 4 as necessary. Okay, I promised you an exercise how to get a better idea what phase 2 feel is like. Now you can see me running back and forth, trotting and cantering and walking, and this is exactly how you can figure out how to match the energy in your body with what you would like your horse to do. Feel in your body what it feels like when you're cantering. Feel in your body what it feels like when you're trotting to a stop, and what it takes from a stop to going right back into a trot. And if you're really, really adventurous, you can even try single lead changes. You might have gotten a good laugh watching me running back and forth in the arena, but I can only encourage you to practice to raise and lower your energy so that you can wholeheartedly refine your communication with your horse. Enjoy the simulation and practice it frequently. In this lesson, I will show you 2 examples of lightness through softness in action. Number 1, Copper online and my mare Cash at Liberty. Let's start with Copper. Copper's story was rather interesting. He was an impulse buy of one of my students without my influence or participation. He was a 6-year-old quarter horse bought at auction. We later found out that he had at least 4 homes in the previous 2 years. And this is a part of Copper's journey to relaxation. Within 2 weeks at my student's house, he developed biting, striking, kicking, charging, and threatening to run people over. All these behaviors were rooted in pushing into pressure out of objection, and we assumed that he was drugged at the sale. I have to say I usually do not work with students' horses, but his owner feared for her safety, and I could see why, and so I spent some time with Copper to help him overcome his challenges. I started out, of course, with undemanding time, which then followed by approach. I increased my personal space in the beginning to 20 feet, so he had no need for and also no opportunity to engage in his defensively aggressive behaviors. I then moved on to releasing the mini and micro thresholds around haltering. You might be seeing a video about that later. And my goal was no defensiveness and to encourage relaxation, softness, and following and yielding to a feel. I used the idea of leading him to create relaxation mentally, emotionally, and physically, and that the lead line would be used as a communication tool. My intent was to guide Copper's body to relaxation and softness. My focus was to achieve slack in the lead rope as a signal of him understanding intent energy and body language, and also following the feel on the line. The result was that Copper chooses to follow the feel, resulting in a more mental, emotional, and physical relaxation and softness in his communication, with no more need to actively act out. The second horse is my mare Cash. She's by now 28 years old. She's a quarter horse mare. Her daddy was a world champion, Hall of Fame cutting horse. And she is actually the reason why I created the saddling one-on-one sequence, which you will learn about in the mental, emotional, and physical balance action step. She also had a history of pushing into pressure, and the way this actually showed up was that she was violently bucking from fear and claustrophobia once she was saddled. She had some real serious trauma around narrow spaces. She actually ran into a gate and breaking the property owner's teeth as the gate slammed open in the woman's face. She was ridden with a gag bit, with a metal piece over her nose, with long shanks, with a chain in her chin, and with a broken bit that would move up the more the in the corner of her mouth, the more the rider was pulling on the rein. A very, very severe, horrific, abusive bit, and they still could not stop her. The challenge was to release all that self-preservation and self-protection in her, overcoming her mental, emotional, and physical tension and fear. Now, Cash has been with me now for a while. She's a grandma now, but nevertheless, this session, as always, working at liberty, we're looking at free will and free choice and lightness through softness. This was an impromptu session with no preparation and not really having played or worked on anything in months. The focus was on walking, trotting, turning, circling, stopping, all done with softness. And the key concept was the idea that we're looking for free will and free choice in participation, that the horse is mirroring me. You can see her mirroring my steps and my body language, and that we can work with a refined communication with intent, energy, body language, with the goal to not having to use the stick. Now, once you have watched this video, I really want you to practice first without your horse. Get the stages of refined communication really established with the intent, the energy, the body language. Practice using your tool for clarification and giving yourself the time to establish this as a habit. I want you to be consciously competent in your communication before you apply these strategies with your horse, so that you can give your horse clarity and consistency, and that your horse does not have to be the sacrificial lamb of your learning experience, and that you, as the guardian and the lead, you are prepared to be understood by your horse. Yes, this video is a bit of how-to, but mostly inspiration. And why is that? Most likely, before this lesson, you started out with unconscious incompetence. You did not know yet how to use your intent, energy, and body language. Therefore, you were unaware of the skill gap, and you did not recognize the need for improvement. Now that you're having watched the first video and you are on the second video in the Lightness through Softness journey, you have become consciously incompetent. So now you know that there is a deficit, and you hopefully recognize the value of learning this new skill. Where I want you to be when you actually work and play with your horse is that you are in the stage of conscious competence, that you can actually perform the skill with concentration and effort, breaking it down into steps that you then eventually, together with your horse, move into the stage of unconscious competence, that the skill becomes literally second nature for you, and that you can perform it effortlessly and often even while multitasking. For example, while you're scanning the surrounding to make sure that you and your horse can feel safe no matter what. And don't forget to ask your questions in the goth community so you can solidify your newly found knowledge for your and your horse's benefit. So here I am changing my position so that I can ask Copper to move his head towards me so his body can follow. Please observe my hand and my fingers, and that I do not apply steady pressure. A lot of times horses will actually lean into steady pressure. And here I would like for him to be soft and follow a feel and put slack in the lead rope, and that his body can follow his nose happily and willingly out of free choice and free will without any negative feedback. So he's enjoying a little rub right here. And now we're working on the other side because, as you know, we need to make sure that everything we do works on both sides equally well. Again, observe my hand, observe my fingers, and see how Copper is putting slack in the lead rope because of it. Moving on to Cash and showing you the communication sequence in slow motion in action. You can see how Cash is shifting her weight to come along with me and how she is mirroring my steps. This is what we're looking for, and this is the kind of soft communication that we want to achieve. And you can see that my intent, energy, and body language asked for a trot, and she happily and willingly gave me the trot. In a moment, I will be asking for a stop. I close the door in front of us. My energy drops into the ground. My sternum moves back, as you can see here, and my body stops. And Cash happily and willingly obliges to the stop. This is the kind of communication that we are looking for. I reward Cash with a little scratch and just a moment of hanging out to reassure her. Here you will see that I am going to ask for a walk off again, and how Cash shifts her weight with me and mirrors my steps. This is the conversation that we're looking for with Lightness. Here in this moment, you can see that I am asking for a change of direction, and Cash is happily and willingly moving her nose, her neck, and her shoulder out of my personal space. The distance between your horse's shoulder and you is directly in correlation to the amount of respect that your horse has for you. In a moment, I will be asking for a transition to the trot. Can you see how my intent, energy, and body language increases, and how Cash is very softly moving into the trot? I am asking for an inside turn, which is working equally well. I'm switching my stick, and now I am actually asking Cash to trot around me. I actually slowed this down so that you can see what is happening. So she is putting quite a bit of effort into her trot, even as a grandma of 28 years of age. She's not as soft and pliable anymore. She's moving a little bit stiffly into the curve, but her amount of willingness and free choice and free will is what I'm really looking for, and her willingness to mirror my body language and my steps. Here I just switched my stick, and now I'm asking for Cash to continue to trot and trot around me. And you can see again that we have this beautiful synchronicity in our steps. And this is what we are looking for when we're communicating with our horse, that we really become the herd of two, moving in synchronicity, just like horses do in their natural herd.